The first millionaire habit that I wish I had known when I was 18 is understanding delayed gratification. That one sounds a bit cliche, but in a world of instant gratification, knowing the art of delaying that gratification for even greater long-term success in the future is an incredibly valuable skill and one that is often found in highly successful people. But I've spent the past few weeks analyzing real-world millionaires and case studies and have 7 other habits to share with you, some of which I think are gonna shock you. Let's get started. The second and perhaps most obvious habit of millionaires is investing, and more importantly, investing early. This is a habit that I'm grateful to have picked up on pretty quickly after I turned 18 5 years ago, but when it comes to long-term investing, time is easily the most important variable because of something called compound interest. If you look at this basic investing example, you can see that despite contributing the exact same $6,000 per year into this account, the total value of the account begins to increase exponentially because the interest or return that you're earning on your money then earns interest on top of itself, and that happens again and again, hence the name compound interest. And that means that by investing early and consistently over a long period of time, you will automatically set yourself up for what is as close to guaranteed financial success as you'll probably ever get. It's not flashy or exciting, and it takes a really long time and is honestly incredibly boring, but it is a proven defensive strategy that is especially important when talking about long-term wealth preservation. And automating your investing and saving for that matter so that you never even see that money come in is honestly one of the best ways that I have found to avoid lifestyle inflation as your income starts to increase as well. So if you haven't done so already, after this video, go open a brokerage account, and I'll link to some of my favorite options down in the description below so that you can get started with investing today. All right, putting those cookie cutter obvious habits aside, the third habit of highly successful millionaires that I wish I had known at 18 was carefully monitoring my inputs. What I mean by this is the news I was consuming, the amount of time I was spending on social media platforms, and really everything in between. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you need to cut out news and social media from your life, otherwise you'll never be successful, because that is definitely not true and would be incredibly hypocritical of me considering you're watching this on a social media platform right now. But many millionaires are at least hyper aware of what inputs they are consuming, whether that's online content or what news they're watching, or even just the people that they surround themselves with. If you surround yourself with highly successful and driven, motivated people that are going places that you want to go, and cut out all of that garbage and noise that surrounds all of us in today's world, you will be way better off and have a much higher chance of becoming a millionaire yourself. Not to mention the fact that you'll just feel a lot more peaceful in your day-to-day life. Trust me. The fourth habit is one that I have just recently started to lean into a lot, and that is learning a high income skill. Now, I'm not talking about going to get a college degree or learning a trade skill, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with those things, and that is a fantastic foundation for a lot of people, and that's coming from a guy who has 2 college degrees himself, so I definitely see the value in that. But don't stop there. When I say a high value skill, what I really mean is learning how to sell, learning how to market in this modern world that we live in, and learning how to manage and lead other people, which is honestly incredibly important no matter what you're doing in your life. Those are really just a few examples, and what is considered a high income skill in the marketplace is something that can change over time. But knowing how to sell and market a product or service is honestly the most universal high income skill that I have ever found, because no matter what income strategy or business you decide to start, there is bound to be some element of selling and marketing. So having those skills will again accelerate your path to becoming a successful millionaire, and starting at a young age is an even greater advantage. Number 5 is one of my personal favorites, and one of, if not the greatest piece of advice that my dad actually ever gave me, and that is millionaires have multiple streams of income. Multiple studies have found that the average millionaire has 3 to 5 streams of income, with other studies estimating that number to be even higher. But this is incredibly important for a number of reasons. First of all, it takes care of the classic pitfall of putting putting all of your eggs in one basket. By diversifying your streams of income, you won't be 100% reliant on just one of them, and should anything happen to that stream of income, you don't suddenly lose 100% of your total income. I've also found that it is a fantastic and seamless way to grow your income total over time, because as new opportunities present themselves in your life, you can seamlessly let go of one vine in order to grab and swing to another. But without that, you'd probably have to completely jump ship from one opportunity to another, and you could have a serious gap in your income if you don't have multiple streams of income. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go crazy and get 4 full-time jobs, start 10 side hustles, and day trade crypto on the weekends. That would end really poorly for a lot of reasons. But there are more opportunities in today's world than ever before. So right now, if you just have one source of income, think about starting a side hustle or trying something new or looking for other income opportunities at your job. And if you already have a few sources of income, maybe look at additional ways to diversify, like investing some of the profits from your business or seeking out new income streams through an existing side hustle. There's really no harm in trying new things and seeing what sticks, because having multiple streams of income is going to give you a level of financial peace that you've probably never felt before in your life. Number 6 is a huge trap that all of us step in, myself included, and that is millionaires don't try to keep up with the Joneses, if you know what I mean. Like I've said before, we live in a world of bigger houses, nicer cars, and more extravagant vacations for whatever reason. Probably because of the unhealthy inputs that we talked about at the start of the video. But we have completely normalized inflating our lifestyle to a level that we cannot afford using debt. We take out mortgages we can't afford, finance cars that will take 6 years to pay off, spend multiple 6 figures on degrees that could be had for a fraction of the price, and go on incredibly extravagant vacations on someone else's dime just for the sake of getting the flashy Instagram photo, all in the name of keeping up with the Joneses. Now, don't get me wrong, I like nice things just as much as the next guy, and I'm not here to judge somebody for how they want to spend their money. But the key word there is their money. It's when we start spending borrowed money for these things that you can really dig yourself into a hole, and when your income is immediately coming in and going right out the door to pay off your debts, it becomes nearly impossible to build long-term wealth. Learn the art of living below your means and not always trying to impress people that, let's be honest, you probably don't really care what they think, and trust me, you will be way better off in the long term, and you'll be able to impress whoever you want, but at that point, you'll have so much money that you won't really care. All right, we've got 2 habits left, including the most important millionaire habit, but number 7 on our list is millionaires know how to say no. This applies in a ton of different aspects of our lives, but with increasingly shorter attention spans and shiny object syndrome spreading rapidly, it is so easy to say yes to those little decisions in our lives that don't seem like a big deal in the moment, but can really start to add up over time. Now, I'm not suggesting that you should be some boring recluse who never has any fun and says no to everything, because what kind of life is that? But being willing to sacrifice your time when necessary and say no to opportunities that may take your focus away from your main long-term goal is honestly a lost art that we could all use a refresher on. Pivot when necessary, but lock into your main goal, stay focused on that goal, and don't feel like you have to say yes to a million distractions around you just for the sake of, again, pleasing others. All right, and last but not least, the 8th and final millionaire habit that I wish I had known at 18 is that millionaires are incredibly generous. Now, I know this one might sound a little bit controversial since wealthier people tend to get a bad rap for being greedy jerks who really only care about money. And while those individuals absolutely exist in our world today, there's actually widespread data showing that giving as a percentage of income is actually pretty even across all income tiers. And if anything, higher income households are actually statistically more likely to give a higher percentage of their income. But the key thing I want you to take away from this habit is don't wait until you have a lot of money in order to start giving. Obviously, when you have more money, it is easier to give more. But as I've talked about in other videos, money is just going to make you more of who you already are. So if right now you're a greedy greedy, closed-off person who never gives anything, whether that's giving your time or giving financially, but you blame it all on being broke, then do what you want with your money, but I wouldn't assume that if you suddenly had all of the money in the world, you would all of a sudden be the most generous person on the planet. Intentionally exercise that giving muscle now and give a little until you're able to give a lot. Not only do I think it is the most fun thing that you can do with your money, but again, there is extensive research showing a high correlation between high levels of happiness and fulfillment in your life and the amount that people are giving. So those are just 8 of the many millionaire habits that I wish I had known when I was 18, but let me know if there's anything that you feel I left off of this list down in the comment section, and definitely check out some of my favorite financial tools using the links down in the description as well. As always, thank you so much for your time, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.